knowledge that I've got, I've accumulated over a decade of how to run this board.
You could tell you've been studying this stuff for a long time. We just got, it was really quick. I was really worried that it was going to take me a while to
figure
get
it out.
in there.
I know. But, well, plus you're on. You know that we're live, so there's that extra stress. You can ask anybody in the industry. I don't stress it. I just figure it's going to work out one way or the other. I'm just
you didn't yell at all.
No.
That was my big worry.
No. Why would I
But you
yell?
never yell. I've never really had you yell at
This
me
is radio.
ever.
It's not.
You yelled at me about other people, but not about me.
No, I'm never yelling about you. No. And I do apologize that I invite such great guest co-hosts to join me, and that I don't tell them, as a co-host, essentially, you and I will be interviewing various guests and talking about different topics.
Okay.
Right? That's how being a guest co-host is.
Sure.
And then I don't send my guest co-hosts any rundown whatsoever as to what's coming up on the show.
That's
so
spontaneous.
Probably helpful. Do you want to know beforehand now, or do you want to know as we head into each segment?
I'm here to serve. In any way, shape, or form.
You serve at the pleasure of
Is
the
it
host.
somebody
of
that
Patti
I
Vasquez.
should know? Is it something that I should? Would I be
all these
excited about their guests?
Absolutely, you should be excited about all of them.
Yeah, that's good.
We're going to talk to our friends from the Elgin Pride event coming up.
Awesome!
I'll be at the tent for Elgin Pride this weekend, and then we have Dr. Jason Bussell. I don't know if you've ever had acupuncture or if you've ever been curious about acupuncture.
I've had acupuncture. I've had it several times actually.
And I think you're going to love Dr. Jason Bussell. He's fantastic, and he talks a lot about.
Did he come with needles? Does he bring them?
You wanted to do it on air? I don't think he does. I think he prefers to have, an environment.
The whole thing, the setup.
Yeah, sort of the soothing
music.
Little green tea. Yeah.
Little green tea. Yeah. Little incense.
And that actually dovetails perfectly with our Motivational Monday expert, who I think you have met, Jen Zanotti. Do you remember Jen Zanotti?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, she's a jiu-jitsu expert. She's actually now, I think, a 3rd black belt now. Something.
Jiu-jitsu expert.
Oh, yeah. She competes in everything.
So
crazy.
I actually did jiu-jitsu for a time.
How? We've known each other for 15 years. I did not know this.
It was not a long lived participation in jiu-jitsu, but I had a boss. Okay. And I had a boss, and he was studying jiu-jitsu, and he invited me to his house. Yeah, and I was he had a jiu-jitsu instructor there.
Okay.
And he'd move all of his cars out of
his garage
and put a bunch of mats down. So this is what happened. There's two things happened.
This sounds like a horrible story.
There's a guy there, and he's training, and then we're literally going round. Every round is 3 minutes, and I'm absolutely exhausted. I cannot even
It's hard.
I'm sweating. I'm aching, and then finally they're like, "Come on, one more round." And then so I'm on the ground, and the guy's got me pinned, and I start to look at the clock, and they both start screaming at me. He's looking at the clock. He's looking at the clock.
You try to write it out.
And I was just like, please let the clock tick. So that night, my wife wasn't very sympathetic about how much pain I was in. She's like, it was your choice, right? So that night I had went to go to the restroom, and I couldn't. And I thought, oh my God, I have to go to the hospital, right?
Oh my God.
Yes, I was in that between.
Did they twist some tubes?
I was just dehydrated.
From the exertion.
It was unbelievable. It was one of the most difficult things I've ever had to do in my life. And it just but literally, I had never.
You've never done it since?
No, it was did not. I was like, this is not.
You're almost angry at me that I asked the question. No,
why'd I do that?
I know. Well, it's also the closeness of your opponent that
it's body to body. It's
a lot.
It's very intimate. It's an intimate.
It's faces and places.
Yeah, it's intimate physiological experience.
That's what I'm gonna call it from now. Not jiu-jitsu. I'm gonna call it faces and places.
It's faces and places. Yes,
you would not otherwise put your face to or your place to
there's a lot of connection.
Well, because my thing is, it is extraordinary self-defense. It's excellent for your health and for feeling confident.
Yeah.
However, I don't want to be that close to somebody to have to defend myself. Like I would like to keep them at arm's length. I would like them to not break through. I know that at the last resort, I've got to defend myself, but I would like them to be farther away.
You don't want to have to be like the whole thing is
just
a little punch, just a little shot, something like that, and then a quick run away.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Throw my keys in the other
direction. Be on the ground.
No,
be all mixed up. There's some people really, really enjoy that.
I know.
Yeah, and I'm not one of those either.
I'm not. She calls it aggressive cuddling.
I'm not adverse to.
A good hug is fine.
A good an interaction that it, that's like, like we're kind of getting into it. But the thing is, I'm getting a lot of ads right now on Facebook about Tai Chi, and every time I see it, I was like, that looks good. I don't know what algorithm they found out about me, but there's a guy, and he said, anybody over 50, you're looking for something. You're looking for something challenging, allow you to live to 100. I don't know what it is about that algorithm. They said, this guy wants to live to his 100. And he wants to look like, and the guy who does the Tai Chi looks fantastic.
Sure.
He's very well sculpted, and he looks in great shape. And I'm thinking, I like it. It's just not a lot of breathing. I mean, there's a lot of breathing, I should say, but not a lot of,
Right. It's smooth. It's a smooth
I'm
movement.
not breathing to the point where I'm going to pass out from the breathing.
Yeah.
It seems like it's a relatively easy and an appealing thing to go through. So they've targeted me.
They found you.
They found me, as far as the AI people found me too.
Oh, I know,
I'm studying AI. I've been studying it to learn about
everything.
Like the best prompts.
Everything to use to protect yourself, to see what's coming, all the things. And
I just what? I need to get plugged. I need to find out what's happening. I saw that Mission Impossible movie and it freaked me out. The new Mission Impossible one?
They lost me after. I don't even know what the last one was I saw. What are we on? 33? What are we on? What Mission Impossible?
I think it's 8.
Is it 8? Yes.
Yeah, I think it's 8.
And they keep telling us it's the last one. Also, Cher retired allegedly and is still touring. So I don't.
If she could turn back to.
If she could. She seems to have.
You know what? She seems to be doing quite well.
Yeah, she seems to. See?
Why would you stop? Here's the thing: is why she's probably doing Tai Chi. She's been done. Why would you give it up if you love what you're doing?
Right. Well,
do you know? I think there's a thing that we like. I saw Springsteen the other day, like a video of him posted, and I was like, God, his voice is really scratchy, right? And I was like, but he's the boss, like. And I've loved him since he was performing in the listened to albums in the 70s when my sister had the 1975 album, right? Mm-hmm. Born to Run. I was like, okay, I was 8.
Is that how old that album is?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
That feels like it's ahead of its time. 75.
Way ahead of its time. I think I'm right at 75 because
you're asking the wrong person.
Yeah, I know.
Appalling lack of musical knowledge.
Well, maybe I think it is 75.
I can't.
Or 76. It was right around there. Anyway, so
we're about to get a flurry of texts.
I'm sure, flurry. What's wrong with you?
Flurry.
That's okay. There's certain things I'm not remembering as well as I used to.
As long as they're not saying in a world of Bruce Springsteen's "Be a Kid Rock" is what is trending right now.
No, they're not.
Yes, it is.
Where's that trending?
I know that because I obviously run a liberal page on Facebook, so the Patti Vasquez show. Oh, you got to come to the Patti Vasquez show page and watch the circus that is happening there. And by the way, our good friend of the show, Steve, I do love when you roll your sleeves up and do some jujitsu move on some of these folks. Yeah,
is he doing jujitsu? There's another person.
Verbal jujitsu. No, I'm saying verbally.
Oh, verbal jujitsu.
He'll tangle with folks and put them in. He'll get them cornered, and I like it. I do once in a while. It's like tag teaming.
My wife did a good jiu-jitsu move the other day, and I was talking to her about, I think at some point maybe I'd like to run for office again. And she was like, oh, that'd be great.
She's
that'd be great.
Psychology.
And I was like, really? She's like, yeah, I'd love to. I'd like to go to Washington. Washington's nice. And I walked away. I was like, I'm not going to do that anytime soon.
Now, if she had said, what are you thinking? What are you thinking?
What's wrong with you?
I will leave you. There's no way I can't go through this again.
I will find someone with hair. And I would have been like, what? So I was like, seriously, she pulled a jiu-jitsu move on me. I was like, no, I really like what I'm doing right now.
It killed your drive to.
Yeah, you know what? I think it's got to.
Not killed. It just neutralized.
It kind of neutralized it. Okay. But but it was interesting that. But I also think that if I really wanted to do it, I would have been all in. Right.
That's the thing. Conversely, my husband, when I lost in 2020, he and my campaign manager, Tom, I think you knew, they were geared up for me to just not stop running. That was kind of the idea behind Neighbor Patty and doing all that during the pandemic and getting involved, which I loved. But the thing is, now I know the other side of it. Would I love to serve? Absolutely. Do I know what's unless I move, I am artificially neutralized by the circumstances. At any rate, but it was funny because the people around me wanted to keep running, and I was like, I'm good.
It's interesting. I was down at Springfield last week or the week before, and I was outside the house. Mm-hmm. I was putting in my card. And for
folks who don't know, if you want to speak to someone on the floor, you give in a card so they can meet you on the rail.
And someone comes out, and my percentage rate was I was running about a 20% success rate.
What?
Yeah, but here's the thing: I remember I used to be able to walk into the floor.
Isn't that weird?
And I could just walk back and forth because at one point I wasn't elected, I had elected office and I had a title, but it was interesting about it. I said it was a very surreal experience because I remember being in 1993, going down there as a 26-year-old, advocating for gun violence prevention measures, and then I did that for a couple years. In 1995, we were advocating against a measure which would allow people to carry loaded, concealed handguns in public places, right? And we didn't have that much influence, but I recall I was like, I'm going to be the last person that they see. So I would be there till 1:30 in the morning. Yeah. And I'd be the last lobbyist. And I was just sitting outside the house, and I was just having this kind of experience. I was like, you know what? This was 32 years ago. Wow. And I was like, just lobbying, and I've been doing that for years. And I was like, you know what? And people would come out, we'd have good conversations, but it tells you the importance it is that people who are listening of not just getting down to Springfield, but meeting directly with their elected officials and having a conversation with them, because it resonates, it has an impact, and you keep doing it over time, and it tells you overnight things won't change. You need to keep fighting. Right. You need to keep pushing and keep advocating. And now we passed another law to help protect kids from unsecured guns in the home, the safe storage, Save at Home.
Excellent. Congratulations to everybody.
And reporting lost and stolen firearms, which seems like it's basic within a certain period of time. You're like, well, so it's been. Hold
on a second. I'm going to take this on the air. Hey, Steve Lessman, this is Patti Vasquez. We're live on the air. Are you really calling me? Is the sales department calling me live on the air? Hey, Steve. Steve, you're on the air.
They make
You've done that to me. You know, Art from WCPT.
Why are they calling you?
I have no idea. But you've done that to me too, by the way. You've called me between 5 and 7.
It's totally an oversight. It's just like freed up. They're like, I'm on the air.
But I've done that to you before. I've been like, you're on the air.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, click.
Click. Sorry.
He just saw me in the hallway. Yeah. Come on now.
I saw him. He said, I'm going to call Patti when she's on the air. I got something to sell her.
I have something new to show you. So I have now, because we are carried in Seattle and in Minneapolis, St. Paul, I have to make sure I'm more on time. So this is we've got to get to a break music. So this is Senator Dan Kotowski joining us in studio. Join us on Thursday for our Stand Up for Kids event at the Den Theater. That's at 8 o'clock. Doors open at 7. And you can go to kidsaboveall.org for tickets to see me, Paul Farvar, Kimberly Marion, and Chris Barnes. More in a moment with our friends from Elgin Pride when we come back.
Tom Hartman.
Lori in Ocala, Florida. Hey, Lori, what's up?
Hi, Tom. First, I just want to say thank you for being here for all of us. It's really important. It's almost like having a friend there that you know you can listen to and talk to. And I've listened to you since Air America, and I really appreciate you today.
Well, thank you, Lori.
The Tom Hartman Radio Program. Weekdays 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. on WCPT 820, where facts matter.
1 in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us at easterseals.com.
You're listening to WCPT 820, because facts matter.
If you're listening to this station right now, you've definitely heard my voice before. Hi, I'm Hawk.
And I'm Pete. And we're with Source Solar, your local source for solar. Source Solar is Chicagoland's premier solar installer, providing solutions for over 1,000 homeowners and business owners across Illinois and Iowa.
With over a decade of industry experience and deep roots here in Chicago, we have the expertise to help your transition to clean, renewable, resilient energy.
We can guarantee that we save you money day one without any out-of-pocket cost to you. This means you have an instant ROI, instant payback, and can save money to add to your bottom line day one.
At Source Solar, we source everything as local as possible, meaning we always carry the Made in USA sticker.
Find us online at www.source.solar. Stop in our office at 5710 North Northwest Highway or give us a call at 773-985-3992.
And don't forget to ask for Hawk
or Pete.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us as we drive it home. My guest co-host in studio is Senator Dan Kotowski, who is now the Executive Director of Kids Above All. We have our Stand Up for Kids event this Thursday at the Den Theater. Go to kidsabovall.org for ticket information. And coming up on Saturday, June 7th, the Elgin Pride event. We have on the phone with us Jeffrey Wright with Elgin Pride Program and Development Director. And I'm thrilled to be joining you on Saturday. How are you doing, Jeffrey?
I'm great, Patty. How you doing?
I am excited. I went to my first Pride event yesterday. I went to Buffalo Grove, and I have to tell you, we need this more than ever this month. I am so excited. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Did you grow up in Elgin?
I did. Thank you. Yeah, I grew up in Elgin. I was born in the 70s in Elgin. I grew up here. Went to St. Mary's School on Gifford Street in Elgin, and went through the school system here at U46 as well.
Look at my Catholics. So Senator Dan Kotowski's in studio with us. He's a graduate of Loyola Academy, as well as...
What's up, Jeffrey?
Hey, Dan. How you doing?
Good,
my uncle teaches at Loyola. Good.
Who teaches at Loyola?
One of my uncles teaches at Loyola in the computer science program.
My brother Mike teaches there. My brother Mike's a history teacher
fantastic.
there.
Oh,
yeah,
we'll have to call you. Let's talk about Pride. Let's not talk about computer science. Let's do Pride.
Well, no, the reason I bring up your background.
We're going to come back to Pride. We will not leave Pride.
Watch this.
Yeah.
I'm coming back to it because a lot of people think we've talked to our friends, Choice for Catholics for Choice. Yesterday I was so thrilled at all the different religious organizations that were at Buffalo Grove. It's not just the religious groups, but also the organizations that are sponsoring. I loved seeing all the support. So tell us about the folks that are supporting Elgin Pride.
Yeah, let me tell you, we got some really great people that are supporting us this year. A lot of churches, especially the First Congregational churches and some of the United Churches of Christ and UCC organizations that are there. Again, St. Paul's United Church of Christ is one of the best ones. We have a lot of our restaurants that are supporting us in Elgin, which makes it so fantastic. The city of Elgin is our biggest sponsor. And I don't know if I can say, but Walmart and Sam's Club are pulling it out this year. We got some really great sponsorship from them as well.
That's wonderful.
Really? Oh, that's fantastic.
Yes.
So how long has this event been held in Elgin?
We've been doing it. This is our third year, and this is actually our first year with an official 501c3. We incorporated last September. Now we have a 9-person board members, and we are running strong and running hard in Elgin, doing everything we can, not just for the parade. We used to be a group of people that just planned a parade frantically, and now we're a group of people that really help the community grow and thrive and help all marginalized people in Elgin. So this is our big event to help get that all out there. I
am so excited. Tell us a little bit about the parade route, too, for folks who are familiar or those who are planning to arrive and where they can enjoy the entire route as spectators.
Yeah, absolutely. We start on Riverside Drive in Elgin, right near the Festival Park. We go out and around, kind of an out and back route through Elgin and come back on Grove Street. And we finish off the parade at Festival Park, right next to the Grand Victoria Casino. A very, very big park, like 4 football fields, and that's where our festival is happening. We have, 54 parade floats. We got 73 festival booths and 13 food trucks. I'm telling you, it's going to be an afternoon of just gluttony and fun.
How many food trucks did you say?
13 food trucks.
And we got 53 floats?
That's a lot.
We have an office at Kids Above All has an office over on Wing Street there, 620 Wing Street.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. We have our gamers group that meets right over there on Wing Street near
Is that right?
Wing and McLean. Yep, we have a gamers group that meets once a week. A bunch of nerds that sit down and play tabletop games. Yeah.
And for folks who want to know about the sort of, as you mentioned, not just the parade, but also events throughout the community throughout the year, there's an event calendar, folks, at elginpride.org. That's elginpride.org. And I love that this is both a community event. It's also all the businesses in the area that are lending their support. And so what's the schedule? What does this look like, the parade and then any events afterwards?
Yeah, 11 a.m. the parade kicks off. The festival opens at 12 o'clock noon, and the festival's finished at 5 p.m. But let me tell you what, Elgin is ready for it. We have quite a few restaurants ready for opening before 11 o'clock for breakfast and some great coffees, too. Afterwards, you can always hit up some of our restaurants, including the Grand Victoria Casino, Kubo Sushi, and El Patio, to have some afternoon snacks, and then Afterwards, there's an after party because, of course, every great queer event has an after party full of some amazing queens at the Martini Room. Like, what can't go wrong? You have queens in a place called Martini Room. Let's be there. Let's have some fun. So that starts at 7 p.m.
Is there a train from my neighborhood to Elgin? I have to check out the train route because if I'm going. I'll be at the WCPT tent, by the way, hanging out with everybody. So I look forward to talking to folks.
There is. The Milwaukee District West Line on Metro comes right to the Elgin. It comes 1 2 blocks from the Parade Festival grounds.
I'm in. I mean, I was already coming, but now I can safely enjoy.
There.
Yes, I love that.
Look for the gayest, superest man, and you'll see me, cape and all. Let's do this.
Can I have a cape? I want a cape. Yeah,
I'll get you a cape.
I have a boa.
For you.
I have a boa. I'm good. I have a hot pink feather boa. Let's talk a little bit about this. You know, the idea of coming and celebrating. You know, whatever that is, joyous colors, just a T-shirt. It's the whole range. You know, heels that I could never walk in myself. I saw folks in yesterday. So tell us a little bit about that community, that sense of supporting each other.
Yeah, that's what it's about. You know, Patty, you know your history. Remember the watch factory? 1864, Elgin had its watch factory startup, and it was half women. That's ridiculous. It's just radical for back then, 1864, a company that's made up of 4,000 people that are half women. Elgin's growth and diversity has completely enabled itself to become unapologetically us, and that's what we are. We celebrate everybody. We've got every celebration this month. I was at Elgin City just walking through the parade route this morning, and they have something every weekend for every color, every flavor. And Elgin just celebrates each other. I don't care who you are. You could be a city council member, you could be a lawyer, you could be somebody who works really hard every day. I want you to roll up your sleeves, pop your collar, roll up your jeans, put a safety pin in it like we used to in the 80s, and just come and be yourself. And when you hear somebody give you a point, give you a smile, and say, I love what you did there, and it's authentically yourself, it feels so much better. That's the feeling we all want. That's the feeling we all give. And that's what Elgin does.
I absolutely love it. And for the other events that you talked about, whether it's the Gamers location there, what are some of the other events you do in the community that people can be a part of?
Yeah, absolutely. Monthly, we have a chat and cast where all the queers and allies come together and just sit around, talk, and be ourselves. We have the Elgin Cool Cats softball, recreational co-ed softball team that plays in the softball league for Elgin. We have our game night. We have a book club. We just finished a book on Sunday, and we have a new one that's coming out this week so we can start reading. We have a writer's group where you can sit and write. We have a hiking group that goes out every month as well in the summertime. And we have community conversations. We have some really great people that have afternoon non-judgmental sharing and guided discussion sessions too. So we have tons that we can also do.
I love that.
That's great. Sounds like you have a lot. What made you get this started, Jeffrey?
I was actually I went to Elgin's first Pride Parade 3 years ago as a spectator, and I just thought it was a great opportunity to get out and make a difference and kind of bring Elgin back together. We've had some struggles in the last 20 years, and I think it's time for us to be back together. And we're really all hoping for the best, and we're all really pushing to do it all as a big community. And that's what kind of made me do it. It's the feeling of community. And, I like to dress a little bit wild. I like to dress a little bit crazy. I was at the Elgin offices today in a pair of leggings and a pair of high heels. Nobody cares. And that's just who I wanted to be. When you were like 5 years old and you wanted to be like a wizard or you wanted to be some sort of superhero character, you did it. But now that you're 40, why did you stop?
Yeah,
don't.
That's a great
In
point.
Elgin, you could do what you want. So I just want to foster that, and that's kind of what drives me, just fostering and making sure everybody can be themselves without worrying in a safe space.
That's one of the things. It's funny you mention that because when I started going to Comic-Cons, I realized how embracing like the TARDIS convention or Wizard World and all those things, because we have a son with a disability and it's so welcoming. Like, everyone's just doing what they love, expressing themselves. So I love that. And I want folks to learn more. Go to elginpride.org. Again, the parade and event, the parade and festival are this Saturday, June 7th, starting at 11 a.m. You can go to Riverside and Prairie in Elgin, and then there'll be a festival after the parade at Festival Park until 5. And then where are the martinis? Remind me where the martinis are.
Martini Room starts at 7 o'clock.
just curious. See if I can
asking for a friend.
Asking for a friend, exactly. Is there anything that we missed, my friend?
Allies are at the core of our being. We love our allies. We love everybody. Don't be afraid. Sometimes you think I don't belong there, but you do. I promise you, you belong.
1,000% agree. 1,000%. I will see you on Saturday, Jeffrey, and pace yourself. I know it's the sprint to Saturday, but also take care of yourself, okay? And it'll be great.
Thanks, Patty. Thanks, Dan. It's good talking to you guys.
You're welcome.
Take care.
Good night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Let's take a break here. When we come back, joining me and Senator Dan Kotowski, who is guest co-hosting today, we will be joined by Dr. Jason Bussell. So if you have any questions about acupuncture or anything that we're talking about, don't forget you can call or text the Credo mobile phone line at 773-763-9278. That's 773-763-9278. We are proud to have Credo Mobile sponsoring our phone and text line. Credo Mobile, a progressive phone company that is better for all people and the planet. Visit credomobile.com. We'll be right back.
You're listening to WCPT 820. Here's the latest Chicago weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. Partly cloudy skies tonight with a low temperature of 66 degrees and south winds at 5 to 15, occasionally gusting as high as 20. Tuesday, cloudy with a chance of isolated showers and storms in the afternoon and a high of 87, with south winds at 15 to 30 miles an hour. Wednesday, scattered showers and storms with a high temperature of 63. Thursday, showers with a high of 64. Friday, showers and storms and a high of 66. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 85.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter. Stephanie Miller.
It's another true Stephanie Miller Show story, Chris LaVoy. Yeah, from with Jane in St. Charles, Illinois. It's real. Stephanie Miller fans are everywhere. We're meeting in parking lots. It happened just yesterday. I got to my car after leaving the grocery store. There was a woman loading her groceries in the car. She had her radio on to WCPT 820 Progressive Radio. I couldn't resist. They said, I think we would qualify to say that we listen to the Stephanie Miller Show. We both laughed and said, yes, we would. I love it.
Stephanie Miller, weekday mornings, 8 to 11 on WCPT 820.
The following is sponsored by Bid My Listing. Selling your home? With Ready, the best real estate agents will pay you up front for your listing. 2, 5, as much as $10,000 just for the chance to sell your home. So when you're ready to sell, give us a call and give us the basic information about your property. We'll notify all those smart agents who signed up with Ready, and within 48 hours, they'll be competing to sell your home. Pick the best one, get thousands up front. Call Ready, 888-551-READY. That's 888-551-REDY.
Alexa, play WCPT.
WCPT from TuneIn.
Vasquez, we appreciate all our fans of Driving It Home, and your support of show sponsor Minocqua Brewing Company ensures that our important conversations continue right here on WCPT each weekday from 5 to 7 p.m. You can now find the Resistance IPA, Labor Lager, or the Resistance Pilsner beer at several Illinois locations, including Arminetti Wine and Spirits in Woodstock, Pineapple and Company in North Riverside, Lyons Beverage Depot in Arlington Heights, and MP's Liquor, Wine and Beer in North Aurora. For a full list of Chicagoland locations, please visit MinocquaBrewingCompany.com. As always, please vote and drink responsibly.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue driving home. Joining me in studio is guest co-host Senator Dan Kotowski. I know I got very nervous. You made me nervous. I got all tongue-tied, sir. Senator Dan Kotowski, who is now the executive director of Kids Above All. We have a wonderful event coming up on Thursday. It's Stand Up for Kids, featuring stand-up comedy from Paul Farvar, Chris Barnes, Kimberly Marion, and I will be hosting. And you can go to kidsaboveall.org for more information and tickets. And follow Kids Above All on TikTok, on Instagram. You can see all the dad joke submissions.
A lot of good dad jokes.
Yeah, I know.
A lot of good dad jokes.
I decided I would just commit. I decided to oversell it.
So that was great. There was a lot of drama.
A lot of drama, right?
I liked how you came in kind of quiet.
Right? Came in the car. Right? It was here. Do you want to hear the joke? Do I look? People, no, they have to go to Instagram to see what joke I did.
It'll make people go to Instagram if you share it.
I'm very worried about the calendar. Mm-hmm. Its days are numbered. So I like that. I like the subtle ones.
Yeah, my daughter has told me, you know what's the difference between a dad joke and a bad joke?
Oh.
One letter.
Boom! It's good.
That's Jason Bussell from Chicago Community Acupuncture.
Drop
Chico
the
Maku.
mic.
That was nice.
What is
Boom.
Acupuncturist drops the needle.
So subtle.
So
See, 'cause
subtle.
it was subtle. It was very
good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, no, my humor hasn't changed at all. But since I became a dad, all my jokes got recategorized as dad jokes, and I don't really like that. But
do you feel that yours the same way, Senator? Because I feel like you've been doing what would be considered dad jokes before you became a dad. I get a sense
I do.
You were
a
an
lot
English major, so
it wasn't.
just-
I got into dad jokes via Kids Above All.
Okay.
But I do a lot of my own,
Yes.
try to make my family laugh kind of jokes.
Yes.
Voices, all sorts of stuff. And, sometimes they think I'm funny and other times they just think I'm endlessly repetitive.
And you've done improv, haven't you?
I just, I took class. I took about, you're supposed to take 6. I got through 3 to 4 of the courses.
It's a whole moneymaker thing, too.
Yeah.
And Dr. Bussell has tried stand-up and wants to do stand-up again, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes. I gave him a shot on the virtual comedy show. You're welcome to come back sometime.
Oh, that was fun.
Yeah, absolutely. We do it every.
what was the
speaking of which,
joke?
tonight he had a 1-minute set. So you get to do they have a minute, which is hard. I hate doing that to people.
1 minute set,
I know.
that's hard.
But it's the comedy show. It was what they would give me. At any rate, which is tonight, by the way. The virtual comedy show is tonight at 9:00. I do a patty melt every Monday night. Material. I have no idea what I'm going to say for 3 minutes, and I just go. And I don't swear, which is surprising to everyone involved. I've been doing this since the pandemic for 4 years now.
It's bleeping.
And how do people find it, Patty?
Oh, they go to virtualcomedyshow.com. Thank you very much, Dr. Jason Bussell. You can go to chicomaku.com for more information.
He's
for more
crushing
information.
it.
I know, you both together.
It's like, what?
The energy in the room is
it's good
fantastic.
energy.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah.
So Senator Kotowski was telling me he has had acupuncture in the past.
Yes.
What was the purpose of your
My
visits?
back.
Okay. And
Yeah, my back.
how'd you find it to work for you?
It worked well.
Yeah.
It worked well. It did. It was a little disconcerting. Have that many needles stuck in me at one point.
How many needles were stuck in you, do you think?
There was a lot. It just went up and down, whatever the points
I think
were.
you need to see Dr. Bussell because I think he does it differly. Do you do a lot of needles at once?
Not usually. I usually use between 4 and 10.
Yeah.
This was like 348. Was I at the right place?
There are many different styles. Yeah.
Many different styles.
Maybe the needles were on
I think
sale.
there was like about 15. It just felt like there was a lot. And
They're
but
not
it
supposed to
helped.
throw them from across the room,
What's that?
Senator. They're not supposed to launch them at you.
The porcupine blow dart. Yeah.
This isn't an alley. It wasn't an alley. What happened?
Well, so Senator was asking if you were bringing needles with, and I was like, I think he prefers to have it in the environment where he has, sort of, it lends itself to the
I do,
experience.
although after this, I'm making a house call to a senior living facility.
Wonderful.
So
really?
I do take it on the road. I've got a little doctor's bag, and I can treat people in their beds or their couches.
That's awesome.
Yes, I have to charge more for it because
Sure.
of the travel. It's easier if people can come to me, but some people are not mobile, and so I am able to come out to them within a reasonable distance.
That's fantastic because I think that, as the senator was mentioning earlier, he in his algorithm on Facebook, he's starting to get these videos encouraging him to do Tai Chi. Mm-hmm. And I'm getting a lot of videos. Apparently, when you hit 50 or whatever it is, we're starting to hear a lot more of what happens to us when we age. And I think that as we age, there is that there's both the mental part of it holding us back, thinking, oh, well, I'm getting older. That's why I feel this way. So tell us some of the things about aging that acupuncture can help us alleviate some pains and distress.
Well, yeah, aging is not pretty, unfortunately. But I think that our generation are aging a lot better, that we're staying more young at heart and we're staying more active later. I don't think our parents were as active or expected to be as active as we are at this age. But we do lose collagen. We do not recover as quickly. We get injured more quickly, and we heal more slowly.
Yeah.
So that's a terrible combination. Every year, I think we talked about this last time I was here, the gardening-related injuries. Because every time that we're starting the season, we think that we can do what we were doing at the end of last season, which might be spending 3-4 hours on the ground. And
Mom, are you listening? Go ahead.
Yeah.
And A, we're not in shape for it, but B, we're a year older. And so we are less able to handle that. And so we do need to exercise more caution with this. We do need to spend a little more time warming up and settling down. And we're unfortunately going to get injured more often. And so that's when you come see me, because we can help with these little niggling injuries that you get from pulled muscles, pulled joints. We've helped a lot of folks avoid knee replacements and hip replacements, which a greater number of us are heading towards, as we have been active and we've overused some of these joints or maybe used them improperly. And I just had a woman come in today to work on her memory. As we've talked about before, my doctoral work was I developed a technique that improves test performance and working memory.
That's great.
And my study was done with undergrads, but it translates into seniors as well. So she just wanted to stave off the cognitive decline. So in addition to doing your puzzles and exercising and eating right, acupuncture can help keep the brain functioning tip-top as well.
And how does that work?
We don't know.
Really?
Yes.
We did a little trial and error, and
the study that I did was examining anxiety and test performance, because anxiety has been shown to impair test performance, and acupuncture has been shown to reduce anxiety.
I see.
So my hypothesis was that acupuncture should improve test performance by reducing anxiety.
Okay.
90 undergraduate subjects later, we saw that acupuncture does reduce anxiety and it does improve test performance, but not in a correlated fashion. So it's not the people that had the lowest anxiety did the best, and it's not the people that had the greatest reduction in their anxiety did the best. Those two effects were independent. So there's some other mechanism at play here that we don't know, but we do know that it does improve test performance. And for everybody that's heading to the SATs, maybe over the summer here, if you have acupuncture before taking the standardized test, our research showed that you improve your performance by 9.5% on recall and reduce procedural errors by 36%.
So where are you when you say somebody who's got in a situation like that has been struggling with memory, or they want to improve cognitively, where are you placing
where the needles go?
Where the needles go?
There's 4 in the top of the head, 1 right inside the hairline and on the forehead, 1 between the eyebrows, 2 spots in each wrist, and 1 in the ankle. 12 needles for 20-minute treatment. That's all it takes. I
will tell you, I had really bad shoulder pain for a long time, and I eventually had to have other things to alleviate that, which we don't need to go into. But he took my ankle and put needles and alleviated the strain in my shoulder.
Really?
Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. For back pain,
This guy, right here, Dr. Jason Bussell.
Yes, you had talked about your back pain, and a lot of folks, if you go in for acupuncture for the back pain, they will put a bunch of needles in your back, and that works. I have found a technique that works better for more of my patients is to go into the hands and feet. We don't need to touch the back at all. By knowing how things are wired, we can get to it from other spots in the body.
Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's fascinating. I've been doing it 25 years, and it still blows me away almost every day at how effective.
Yeah, he was almost giggling when because I was like, "Oh my god!" And he was so super excited that I was excited.
That's great.
Somebody who's invested in your care is very cool to have.
How did you get involved in being an acupuncturist? Yeah,
I was pre-med, working at what was then called Rush North Shore Hospital, now called Skokie Hospital.
Oh yeah.
And I was talking with the docs, and they were all trying to talk me out of going into medicine. They were very unhappy with how managed care was stifling their ability to practice. And they were saying, don't do it. The money's not what it used to be. The prestige isn't there anymore. The autonomy's not there. Even the patient contact isn't there anymore. There's no good reason to do this. The first 20 times I heard it, I shrugged it off. I figured it's just some bitter old man longing for the old days. I know what I'm doing. But even the fresh grads were having this experience, and it got to me. A nurse with whom I worked told me about the acupuncture program in town. So I checked out a couple books on it, found the whole paradigm to be highly suspect. I come from a family of physicians, and being pre-med myself, I was more comfortable with terms like bacteria and virus versus chi and meridians. But that skepticism was very short-lived once I got into the program and saw how effective it was and came to understand and appreciate the system upon which it's built. And now I've been doing it 25 years, and I love it. I get to see a wide variety of patients. I get to spend a lot of time with my patients. I see a wide variety of conditions, a wide variety of patients. My oldest patient was 99. My youngest patient was 5 months. They both wore diapers, but other than that, they have very little in common.
There you go. Wow.
And I get to treat everybody in a way that I know is safe. Yeah. One of my favorite things about it is that in terms of longitudinal study, nobody beats the Chinese. In Western medicine, we keep having these wonderful examples of the miracle drug being pulled off the market because, oops, it's killing people. And then they put it back on the market with a sign saying, this might kill you. But I don't do anything to a patient that's been studied for less than 1,000 years. So I get to feel very safe in what I'm doing with them.
Isn't that a great way to market that?
It is a great way to market
it. We need to take a break here. We're hanging out in the studio with Senator Dan Kotowski, who's the Executive Director of Kids Above All. Our Stand Up for Kids event is this Thursday, June 5th at the Den Theater. And you can see me and Senator Dan Kotowski tomorrow morning on CBS News with Dana Kozlov, who I didn't even know. Our kids went to school together, so I'm excited to see her again.
It's going to be so much fun.
Amazing. Yeah, so we'll be on
has no idea what's going to happen, I'm sure.
Neither do we. 8:15 a.m. tomorrow. And Dr. Jason Bussell, the founder, the doctor at the Chicago Community Acupuncture. Go to chicomaku.com, and we'll get the phone number in a moment when we come back on WCPT 820 and KTNF AM 950, Seattle, Washington. Hi, friends.
A better life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
The weather outside is changing, so it's a good time to revisit this question. Do you really need expensive workout clothes? And the answer, I'm happy to report, according to every single expert we spoke to, is no. You do want to meet the minimum requirements with your clothing, that it's not too tight, not too loose, that it just feels comfortable. That said, you do want to think about what fabric you're wearing. Cotton, for example, when it gets wet, can make you overheat in the summer or even more prone to frostbite in the winter. Shoes are important as well. If you can afford them, shoes that are specific in some way to the workout you're doing can go a long way towards maximizing effort and reducing the likelihood of injury. But at the end of the day, as long as you feel comfortable, as long as you feel confident, as long as you're more likely to actually work out, the clothing is doing its job. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
The following is sponsored by Bid My Listing. Selling your home? With Ready, the best real estate agents will pay you up front for your listing. 2, 5, as much as $10,000 just for the chance to sell your home. So when you're ready to sell, give us a call and give us the basic information about your property. We'll notify all those smart agents who signed up with Ready, and within 48 hours, they'll be competing to sell your home. Pick the best one, get thousands up front. Call Ready, 888-551-READY. That's 888-551-REDY.
Pro Paint Days are back at Lowe's, and My Lowe's Pro Rewards members can save even more with limited time deals. Right now, buy one, get one half off. Select HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams Primer and Ceiling Paint. Plus, get free same-day delivery to your job site when you order by 2 p.m. Offer valid through 6/13, delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Additional terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT 820, where facts matter.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
I would start the show again, but one, it was late running back into the studio with water, and two, my guests are catching up on Rogers Park. Is this what we're talking about?
Yeah. Yes.
Rogers Park.
It's so funny. I grew up, because it was from Rogers Park, and it's actually, if you want to get really accurate, it's West Ridge where I lived.
Fair.
None of us called it West Ridge growing up. Not a one, right?
Right. And the strange thing about it is that the town of West, as I understand it, used to be its own standalone town called West Ridge that got annexed into Chicago.
Oh,
but
interesting.
But the park called Rogers Park is in West Ridge.
Oh dear, this is throwing the center for a loop.
Rogers Park is in West Ridge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was like, for a second there, I was like, no, Potawatomi Park is east of Ridge. And I even grew up, our first house we grew up, as 2136 West Morris, that was east of Ridge, right, on the border of Rogers. But my mother grew up on Loyola Avenue in Rogers Park. So
is that why she sent you to Loyola?
Yes. Her father was taught at Loyola Academy. He was the head football coach there, and he taught math. And they just loved the Jesuits. They thought they were the greatest. And so, yeah, and my dad studied to be a Jesuit priest, too. So when we were looking at schools, they're like, yeah,
no brainer.
Good place for you to go.
How exciting is it that the Pope is from Chicago? Can we live here for a moment again?
Oh, yeah.
I'm so happy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar with the Green Mill, but the Green Mill, Paper Machete at the Green Mill, which is sort of the salon variety show. And the host of it is there's a puppet, obviously manned by this incredibly just smart and wonderful writer who, the last time I was there was Robin Williams had just died, and the host had done this beautiful piece about how they had battled depression, and one of the things that helped them get through it was Robin Williams, and so it was hard for them to process that he was battling depression, like while making everybody else happy. So it was a beautiful, and I think it's available online, the audio of it. But now there's a video of him talking about the Pope being from Chicago, and it's really brilliant. If you guys can find it, paper machete, and the Pope is from Chicago. Like, it just makes me tear up just thinking the Pope is from Chicago. I mean, I'm not Catholic. I didn't grow up Catholic, and I'm like, I could give it a shot now.
Yeah.
With this guy in charge.
Time.
Yeah, there's still time. Just, I mean, I don't mind being Catholic adjacent. I mean, I've gone to my son, both my sons, my husband, all Catholic. I'm just, I like to observe. I like it off from a distance. At any rate, which is an interesting element to talk about, I would think, is the role that I think religion plays in health, too. I think a lot of people talk about whether or not praying has something to do. I'm writing a book called Prayers and Pills, because we put a lot into the medical industry, into like these cures, these pills, these treatments and things like that. And we put prayers into it because at the end of the day, it's about love, right? You want more time with your family. You want to be here longer to see your family do things. It's really what it comes down to, don't you think?
For those of us that are pure of heart.
What do people want to live longer for? What? Power, I guess.
Yeah,
money.
Citolini. I think he just wants more money and more.
Citolini.
Yeah.
It is a very strange time right now. I don't even know where to begin with what's happening at the national level or the international level. We can't talk about this for a moment. How crazy is this? That President Zelensky was in the White House. Trump is, scolding him. You got no cards, right? And then the guy for 18 months has been strategizing, has had people infiltrating Russia with these drones and these devices. And then, I mean, what? It's pretty brilliant. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm very happy with that move.
Yes,
it's
very satisfying.
I was talking to my son the other day, Cooper, who had graduated from Indiana, and I said, there was a time in our country when a president would, if you left the presidency and they made money from selling a book, people were like, "Oh my God, I can't believe how much money he's getting for selling a book or a speaking engagement." And now it's like they're making billions off of crypto, and it was just like, or like an exchange of a plane. There was a time where it was a big deal when you were actually getting some compensation after you left office, not while you were in office. Your family, God forbid, your family benefited from it. It's extraordinary.
Yeah, they made such a big deal out of Hunter Biden getting something out of Joe's presidency.
Right.
And now all of the Trump kids and Trump himself are getting 100 times that much.
40% of Trump's wealth has come while president.
Yeah.
I don't. And the fact that he's pardoning people, I just heard this number today on the station, that he is pardoning people and they are no longer responsible for, being held accountable to the people that they took money from, whether it's a policeman's fund or investors who were tricked. $1.6 billion that they were all on the hook for, that they were supposed to repay and now are not responsible for. I mean, this is what makes me crazy, is the white collar crime that I think creates a lot of what people are, why they struggle.
Right.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Senator? Go ahead.
It's so funny because we were talking about this today. It's not what people do, it's what they say. So if you listen to Steve Miller talk about, and you pull out all the racist stuff, his message is, people work hard, play by the rules, trying to take care of their families, and they don't have enough to live. There's all these people been making money off of graft, and they're getting all these big contracts, and they've been doing so well. And people who work hard and pay taxes are not. So this message is a whole working class message, right? And it's not any of the stuff that they're doing,
right?
Like they're lining the pockets of these billionaires that they're connected with, but it's their message who they directly appeal to,
right?
And they're very disciplined. But I was watching, Stephen Miller on Fox, and I was like, I'm going to watch this interview, and it was very interesting. People should pay very close attention, particularly anybody who wants to run for office should pay very close attention.
I know,
because it's like this is a message that resonates with with people who are working hard, playing by those working class people. Like, yeah, this guy's got my back, because it's the follow up. It's like, who has time to kind of dig deep and to be like, wait a second, they're making a ton of money off of. They're setting up a business here, or they're bringing the crypto people here.
When you're explaining,
yeah,
you're
losing.
You're losing.
Yeah.
And it's so frustrating because we are so convinced we need to tell people the facts and support it with information and receipts and all this other stuff. And we've talked about this, Dr. Bussell, how are your patients doing? Because I know that stress is something else that sends people for care.
They're terribly stressed, yes. And many of my sessions are now partially counseling sessions, just trying to talk people off the ledge that, yes, the sky is falling, but and I have to come up with a new but every day.
But it's not.
If I convince myself, I can convince you.
But tomorrow we'll be here. We can fight another day.
Yes.
There's good things happening. The sun is still rising.
Right. Well, and that's kind of my thinking with President Zelensky and Ukraine having at one point having the support of the United States, and that support was old military equipment, essentially, right? But they dug in, they strategized, they focused. They were not shook by the president turning his back on them. I'm just saying, it comes at a cost, and this is painful, and people are suffering. We see people getting rounded up by people in masks claiming to be ICE. We saw in San Diego, if you saw a video of the agents using like flash bombs with people who were trying to protect, because 2 or 3 restaurants were raided just out of nowhere. And people like the residents of the community were like, no, we will not let this happen. And so the ICE agents turned on them. And this is going to keep happening.
It's amazing too, people understand. Like, the vast majority folks are paying taxes.
I know.
And they don't get anything in return for that tax.
Go after the employers. If you go after the employers, I assure you this will end much quicker.
Yeah.
Go after the employers.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's like enforcing a fishing ban and you're blaming the fish for taking the bait.
It's true. 100%.
That is true. Oh my goodness. So I know a lot of folks have questions about acupuncture, but I don't. No one's texting in. But I do want to ask you because we did get a diagnosis since I last saw you. I don't know if we've spoken, but Declan has a very rare genetic disorder called primrose, and so we suspect that part of what is happening with him being unable to walk in the last couple of years is possibly related to that. But he has severe neuropathy, and I know that there are a lot of people who struggle with neuropathy. Is neuropathy acute neuropathy? Is that something that can be? I know that that's something that's a little bit aside from acupuncture.
No, not at all. My house call after this is treating a woman for neuropathy.
Oh, okay.
I see a lot of cancer patients, and chemotherapy often will cause neuropathy in the hands and feet. But we also see diabetic neuropathy and atypical, which means we don't know where this is coming from.
Right. Which would be
Neuropathic
Declan,
pain.
probably. Yeah.
Yes. And so,
we'll be back.
it helps a lot
We'll
of
be back
folks
at the
with
end of the
that.
week. We'll be making an appointment for Declan.
Wow.
Yeah, no,
he's
it's
a
pretty.
sweet boy.
He is so. I mean, like he's nonplussed by what I mean. Like he gets frustrated. He can't do as much as he used to, but he doesn't let it hold him back. We've been there, but we were all. It was so severe. His legs are not as locked up as when you saw him. So that has somewhat resolved. Especially the right leg is nearly completely extended now.
Okay, good.
So yeah. But he was like complete like rock solid, and so it was
contorted.
Yeah, contorted. So we wanted to make sure we were addressing everything possible, and so we will be back soon. Because I really, and I know that he was very, like, even for someone who doesn't quite get what's happening, he was very, engaged in the session. So just want to let folks know. What else? Oh, by the way, Dr. Bussell, we only have about a minute left, 50 seconds, but Dr. Bussell also trains for these competitive, like, are you doing Ironman this year?
Yeah, training for an Ironman. Did an 87-mile bike ride yesterday.
What?
As I'm working my way up to 112, which is the full distance.
Oh, my God.
Went to the border, went from Westridge up to the Wisconsin border and back, and was pretty fried from it. So fortunately, I still got 3 months to get into shape.
And then are you? Where do you do the swimming? You're practicing for the swim portion?
It's too cold in Lake Michigan right now. It's 57 degrees.
57.
Yeah, so I'm in the pool. I wish I could be into the lake, but I'll have to wait until.
Will you be swimming in a lake when you do the competition?
Yeah, it's in Madison, so we swim in a lake up there, which is
like Lake Winnebago or something like that, or
Lake Monona.
Oh, Monona. Okay,
right in front of the Capitol.
And where can folks go for your services? Phone number and website.
Yeah, it's shycomacu.com or chicomacu.com. And it's 773-853-0920. 773-853-0920.
And I didn't even get to catch up about your daughters, but please tell them I said hello.
I will.
Look forward to seeing them over the summer. Thank you so much, Doctor. That's Dr. Jason Bussell. Go to chicomacu.com, as he said, and make an appointment for your first acupuncture or to return. Maybe you've tried it before and now have another practitioner you can enjoy.
100%.
Let's take a break here. We'll come back with Jen Zanotti for Motivational Monday on WCPT and KKNW.
Well, June is Pride Month, and all of us who believe in freedom and equality are speaking out for LGBTQ plus rights. But did you know there's a way to raise your voice for equality every month? In fact, every day. It's your phone if you use Credo Mobile. Credo Mobile has donated over $15 million to nonprofits working for equal rights, groups like National LGBTQ Task Force, Transgender Law Center, and the ACLU. And they'll continue to do so because they don't abandon their values when the political wind shifts. They stand for LGBTQ plus people during Pride Month and every month. If you're ready to switch, it's so easy to do. Here's how you make a difference. Go to credomobile.com. WCPT listeners can get 25% off your service for 2 years if you use the code WCPT25. Learn more at credomobile.com. That's credomobile.com. The best way to give back is to go to credomobile.com. That's credomobile.com. Don't forget, type in your code WCPT25.
Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start looking and feeling your best with Hair Grow by New Nordic. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or at your local CVS.
AP News, I'm Haya Panzwani. The man who attacked a group in Boulder holding their weekly demonstration for the release of Israeli hostages in Gaza planned to kill them all with Molotov cocktails. Authorities revealed that the man was posing as a gardener to get close to the group. Acting U.S. Attorney J. Bishop Grewell for the District of Colorado says the suspect, Mohammed Sabri Solomon, confessed after being taken into custody.
Mr. Solomon stated that he had been planning this attack for a year. And he acted because he hated what he called the Zionist group.
Around-the-clock work at Newark's airport is yielding results. The AP's Jennifer King reports.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy was on hand at Newark Liberty Airport Monday as a construction project wrapped up nearly 2 weeks early.
We're celebrating the opening of Newark's runway. And this is a 60-day project that actually is completed 13 days early.
The FAA expects to be able to ease flight limits at the airport next week. The second busiest airport in the New York City area has been plagued by cancellations and delays this spring because of technical problems and a shortage of air traffic controllers.
The problem we're seeing with controllers, it can't be fixed overnight. It takes time to train up on this airspace.
In the meantime, Duffy says that passengers that do book flights from Newark can expect fewer delays and cancellations.
If you want to book at Newark, you might get a little better deal if you're coming out of this airport. But if you book, you fly, and that's critical. That's important.
I'm Jennifer King.
Speaking with reporters, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt was asked if President Trump would meet with his Russian and Ukrainian counterparts in a bid to find peace.
The president has said he's open to it if it comes to that, but he wants both of these leaders and both sides to sit down at the table together. And we saw them do that at the urging of President Trump today. But as for how the president feels about those talks and what took place there, I'll let him speak on that.
This is AP News. The Trump administration has made an emergency appeal to the Supreme Court.
The Trump administration is again asking the Supreme Court to step in over what the government calls federal judges overstepping their authority. In its latest emergency appeal to the High Court, the administration's asking the justices to pave the way for its federal workforce downsizing plans. That comes after an appeals panel refused to pause a federal judge's order halting the cuts. The judge had said the administration did not have congressional approval for the downsizing. The administration says the idea that the president needs explicit authorization from Congress for something like that is indefensible. The High Court has set a Monday deadline for responses from labor unions and cities who have sued over the administration's cuts. Sagar Meghani, Washington.
I'm Haya Panjwani.
This is 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and streaming worldwide at WCPT820.com. We are Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter. Now, your WCPT 820 weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. Partly cloudy skies tonight with a low temperature of 66 degrees and south winds at 5 to 15, occasionally gusting as high as 20. Tuesday, cloudy with a chance of isolated showers and storms in the afternoon and a high of 87 with south winds at 15 to 30 miles an hour. Wednesday, scattered showers and storms with a high temperature of 63. Thursday, showers with a high of 64. Friday, showers and storms and a high of 66. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 84.
If you're drowning in debt, you need to call Team Hochberg, your trusted local lender, about a fresh start debt consolidation refinance. Today, meet Jordan, 47, project manager, married to Jackie, 43, executive assistant, combined income $260 G's a year, living in a $600,000 home with their 3 kids, called to pay off $120,000 worth of credit card debt, high interest rate consumer loans, and 2 401k loans. Team Hochberg loan officer Cindy Piazza helped Jordan and Jackie pay off their debt, eliminated their stress with the Team Hochberg Fresh Start Debt Consolidation Refinance, which saved them over $12,000 a year. Team Hochberg's helped thousands of radio listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. That number again is 855-563-2843 or visit that website you know and love, 56david.com. Lower.com, equal housing lender, MLS 1124061.
Because facts matter. You are listening to WCPT 820.
Driving it home with Patti Vasquez, Patti Vasquez. From global conflicts to greenhouse gases, the folks refusing to wear masks says, and politicians getting caught grabbing ass says, she's driving it home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us as we drive it home. Joining me in the studio is guest co-host former Senator Dan Kotowski.
I like that. FS.
Right, FS. So former Senator Dan Kotowski, now the executive director of Kids Above All, helping children and families live happy, healthy, safe lives throughout the Chicagoland area. And we have our Stand Up for Kids event this Thursday at 8 p.m. Doors open at 7 at the Den Theater. It's comedy from Paul Farvar, Kimberly Marion, Chris Barnes, and I'll be hosting, and Senator Kotowski will also be a part of the event, and I'm guiding him now through a stand-up comedy set that he needs to develop. And joining us on the line, yes, what were we going to say? Oh, kidsabovall.org for tickets. What were you
I wasn't going to say anything. I was just smiling at you.
You're leaning
like,
into the mic.
Like kind of dumb.
We're leaning in. So kidsabovall.org for tickets. And on the line with us is Jen Zanotti, our Motivational Monday expert, and she's also a positivity expert. Dan. She's like, you know how some people are positive. You're like, oh my god, no. Jen is like grounded positivity with realism, with
really.
real. Oh yeah. Hey Jen, how are you doing?
I like positive people.
Great. How are you? That was a wonderful description. Thank you for that.
Absolutely. I love that. Now, Jen, you are opening. You're coming back to the Chicagoland area. You're in Virginia, right?
In Maryland.
I've heard both ways.
Palmer Park, Maryland. Right on the D.C. border. We're all right here. You know what I mean? Virginia, Maryland, D.C. Yeah. Very close to each other.
I'm just saying.
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
I thought you said the Beastie border. Like the Beastie Boys were from there. D.C.
The D.C. border. Yes.
D.C.
So tell folks about this new adventure that you're launching in Highwood. Or in Highland. Where are you going to do it?
Yeah, in Highland Park technically. So my husband and I are opening up a second gym in Highland Park, Illinois. So in my hometown, which we're super excited. It's always been a dream of mine. We have a martial arts gym here. He's had the gym for 16 years. So we have jiu-jitsu, we have wrestling, we have Muay Thai, we have judo, we have kids classes. We have self-defense and fitness classes, and I do personal training out here as well. And we're going to basically just kind of mimic the same thing and build it at home. So we're super, super excited.
Now, the senator was sharing his one and only experience, it seems, with jiu-jitsu. And I feel like since I've talked about going back, I feel like maybe we do a demo class, not with each other, because I'm not putting faces in places. I'm just going to say that right now. That's my new name for jiu-jitsu, is Faces in Places.
I love it. Faces in Places. It's very intimate.
Patty's pointing at me, and I'm thinking, no, I wouldn't do jiu-jitsu with you.
You should have seen me and Farvar doing jiu-jitsu together.
That was
Did you and Paulie Farvar do jiu-jitsu together?
It was so...
Yes, they did.
Did somebody give you a ticket when you were there? This isn't supposed to happen. This isn't appropriate. You guys are going to have to leave.
What was with my coworkers, too, from WGN? It was... Do you know what was funny? Jen, you know I've never talked to you about?
How long ago?
Can I tell you something? You know what was so funny about that was that we arranged to do what was like a lunchtime thing, like a lunch break or a recess. I don't know, whatever she used to call it, right?
It was, was it a recess?
I don't know. It was like we did all like aerial yoga, and we did a bunch of different things, right? And then I had set up a thing for burlesque dancing, right? And I had it for co-ed because like men also, there's a form of burlesque. And she was like, oh, no one really feels comfortable doing burlesque, with men being there. I'm like, y'all showed up for jujitsu and put your faces in places. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Who wasn't comfortable with the burlesque? Who was that? Oh, somebody from the station?
Yes.
Oh, that's
she's
right.
like, some of the women aren't comfortable with that. Okay.
Yeah, okay. They'd rather see people
faces in place. Okay.
slithering on the floor, right?
I'm just saying. It kind of cracked me up.
Jen, are you an expert in jiu-jitsu?
Well, Patty knows I don't like the word expert, but I am a first-degree black belt in jiu-jitsu, and so I've been training 13 years now, and it's become my career and my passion. We just had some promotions this weekend. My husband and I have now, we were able to promote our 10th black belt, which is pretty awesome. So it's super exciting to see everybody else's journeys, and it takes a long time. It takes a long time to get a black belt in jiu-jitsu.
So when you say, because you don't say expert because you must look at this as a work in progress.
I'm always learning.
Work in progress, right?
The journey, if somebody tells you they know everything there is to know about jiu-jitsu or many other topics in life, I kind of, run the other way. But, you're always learning. I'm learning from new students that come in all the time to, other professors and coaches who have been training for a long time. It's never ending. So there's always new things that come up. Mm-hmm.
So your husband and you, have you ever gotten a heated argument and you're like, okay, let's just work this out in the gym?
It's a great stress relief to be able to train with your partner, I must say.
Well, that was kind of an elliptical answer. It is a great stress relief to train with your partner.
Yes.
I feel like I'm in a safe place with that language. So yeah,
he's great. Wait till you meet Jay. You'll love Jay.
Sounds like I'd love him. Sounds like they both are working out their stress together, which is I support.
Which is what a lot of us need to do now. With that. So Senator Kotowski and I were talking about getting older, and he, in his algorithm on social media, he's getting a lot of videos that he should be doing Tai Chi.
Yes.
And I'm getting how to build muscle in your 50s, right? So these women with like these big delts and
really, you're getting how to build muscle. You must be following some stuff too, like on your reels.
You're getting 1,000 grams of protein a day. If you're not, you're going to die tomorrow.
Yes. It's unbelievable, right? And it's good that we know having. I don't know how if Jen shares the same age bracket as we do, but like having grown up with in a different period where. We know the difference between. We know what's happening.
Yes,
we're like, there's something happening. They're targeting me right now, and people right now they're like, I don't know what. Oh my God, all these people want me to do this. Like now they're like, something's weird going on.
Yes.
And some guy wants me to do Tai Chi, and I know it's not necessarily my journey or my path. But it seems appealing. And,
sure, that would work for me.
I think I watched the Cheers rerun or the Cheers reel.
These are my choices. Well, so my question is like, I think people are now seeing videos like for me, like the problem with seeing too many videos is I'm like, oh yeah, I want those shoulders, and then I'll try to do something for I do it too quickly, and then I don't see results, and I'm like, screw it, it's not gonna work. So there's pacing and also managing expectations. I think is a big part of trying to get into shape or whatever it is you're trying to do to make yourself feel better, right?
Absolutely. I was actually just talking to my stepdaughter about this last night, who's in college and who's started wanting to, build more muscle, and she's gotten into a good lifting routine and going to the gym, which is great. She was always a little taller and very, very slender, so she wanted to feel strong, and I said, feeling strong is one of the greatest feelings. But I think there's a lot of things on Instagram out there, and especially a lot of influencers, and you have to kind of really understand what people are working out for, because there's a lot of images that are just not, realistic, where if somebody is trying to do a fitness contest or physique or bodybuilding, people are going to look extremely shredded, but that's not how they're walking around every day. You know, they're doing something specifically for a show where they have to do, you know, things that they need to monitor for their body that might not be healthy for the average person. But then they're, you know, getting back to normal and kind of building up, you know, doing carb loading and different things like that, right? So, you know, versus somebody who's doing things for performance where they need to, you know, do jujitsu, or they're playing basketball or baseball and they need to physically perform. They're not going to necessarily look like they have that ripped, you know, six pack, because they need to be able to actually like feel strong and perform. So I think there's, you know, different goals for different people, and a lot of stuff on social media I think is just not showing the full picture and not as realistic. So just kind of taking things with a grain of salt and understanding what are your goals, what are you trying to achieve, and how do you want to feel? And then understanding that, you know, it's going to take time. It's going to take the average individual time. This isn't something you might be doing full time for a job, so you can't spend, you know, 7 hours in a gym a day, but you can definitely get great results by, you know, spending maybe, you know, 30 minutes to an hour each day, 5 days a week, whatever works for you, but really putting it into your schedule and just having those realistic goals.
That's so smart. And I get that, you know, again, that we have all this, you know, constant input and what we want to look like, what we used to look like. There's also just, you know, finding that pace that's right for you. So I really appreciate that. And I think it helps a lot of folks. But again, can I ask, I don't know if you guys are both familiar with this, how much has the cottage cheese industry taken a hold of social media? I feel like the senator doesn't know what I'm talking about. I don't know if Lady B, I know a lot of people out there. So people are making everything with cottage cheese. Lady B is nodding as well. They're putting it in pasta sauces. They're making it into bread. They're putting it into ice cream.
Yeah.
What was that like? Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, this is a problem with social media, because you'll make a statement like everyone's doing it. And then you were like, walk down the street like, what do you mean everyone's doing with the cottage cheese?
So
There's a group of people.
I was just talking about this, and I was recently, I don't eat dairy. I'm not lactose intolerant. I'm not like celiac, but I typically eat gluten-free and dairy-free just because I'm more sensitive. Like I get a lot more bloated, but I don't get like extremely ill, right? So there's definitely a difference, and I want to be able to have a little bit of dairy, a little bit of gluten here and there, so I don't totally like desensitize myself. But I was like, I'm going to try some cottage cheese again. I'm going to try and incorporate this. I just had like a craving. It sounded so good, and I was like, there's so much protein. And I'm somebody who once like something settles okay, and I'm like, oh, this is great. I'm going to try and like incorporate it into a routine or a habit. So I have it, and I'm like having a little bit of it like every day, and I'm like, this is great, perfect snack. And then I was like, oh boy, this is just not sitting right for me like a few days later, and it was just too much. So I'm like, here and there I can have a little bit, but it's still the dairy. I was like, it's bothering me, right? So, you know, I think you are seeing all of these options, and we're trying to have all these healthy swaps, and it could work for some people, and it could be great. I mean, cottage cheese is a great option and great source of protein, but it depends, you know, if dairy bothers you or not. So I'd say, you know, try it out a little bit at a time and see how it works for you.
Isn't that interesting how you do something like that? I don't have a lot of dairy in my diet, and then periodically you're like, I had some cheese, I felt good, and then I'll have some tomorrow next day, and then suddenly you're like, whoa, and it's like it builds up in your body. And
totally, that inflammation.
It's not a good result. No, but you chase the dragon, the dairy dragon.
So excited. Yeah, and I'm like, oh, man.
Yeah, you feel like you got it. You're like, oh, whoa, I can have dairy again. But no, you really can't.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, no, that was bad. Here and there, a little bit, you know, but I was like, I can't make this a routine. It's not going to work.
It's disappointing.
Oh. Well, Jen, where can folks find out more about the work that you do and the upcoming opening of the new gym?
Yeah, they can follow me on Instagram at All Things Gen Z, and the new gym Instagram is at Team True Style. So the gym is called True Style Jiu-Jitsu and Fitness. Working on the website right now, but hopefully we will have a soft opening in August, beginning of August.
Excellent. I'm so excited.
Wonderful.
I'm so excited. I will drive to you. I promise.
I'll be home in July. So first week of July, getting everything all set up.
I've already mentally committed to at least 1 day a month. I have to serve 1 day a month. Because of my husband's schedule, but I know that I'm going to get there once a month at least.
I love it. Excellent.
Excellent.
We'll start there.
All right. Thank you, Jen. We'll talk to you again next week. Say hi to Jay for me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I will. Thanks, guys.
Nice to meet you, Jen.
Bye.
Take care.
Let's take a break here, and we'll continue our conversation when we come back on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal, KKNW 950 AM 950 Minneapolis, St. Paul. These are my wonderful friends in Minneapolis, St. Paul, listening to KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Oh, wonderful.
And the alternative talk for Seattle on 1150 KKNW. Thank you for helping me focus, sir. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
And folks can give us a call on the Credo mobile phone line or text line 773-763-9278.
With MedGuard Alert, you're never alone. You can connect with medical professionals anywhere, anytime. And now MedGuard is introducing our exclusive new Care Watch. If you need help quickly, use it from anywhere to contact medical professionals. No cell phone required. The Care Watch is not only a life-saving medical alert device, it's a revolutionary health monitoring system that checks your blood pressure, heart rate, oxygen saturation, and much more. And here's the best part. If you have Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. The Care Watch is only available through MedGuard Alert. Call us right now. We have monitoring programs starting as low as $1 a day. The call is free, activation is free, shipping is free, and no contract is required. Remember, with Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. Call us to get your Care Watch right now.
800-741-5819. 800-741-5819. 800-741-5819. That's 800-741-5819.
Today, 1 in 5 working-age Americans has a mental health condition.
People in all types of jobs and at all levels.
And the key to helping us succeed is a supportive and inclusive workplace.
All of us have a role to play in making that happen.
So what can I do to help?
As a CEO, I can set the tone for supportive culture.
As a manager, I can offer assistance and accommodations.
As a coworker, I can listen and be a source of support to my colleagues.
As someone with a mental health condition, I can ask for what I need to perform my best.
I can offer all employees the supports they need to deliver on the job. For the team
and for the business.
What can I do?
What can I do?
What can I do?
I can remind others
that we all benefit from workplaces that promote good mental health.
Mental health-friendly workplaces are more important than ever.
And all of us have a role to play in promoting them.
Learn more at whatcanyoudocampaign.org.
Hey Google, play WCPT.
Streaming Chicago's progressive talk from TuneIn.
If you're listening to this station right now, you've definitely heard my voice before. Hi, I'm Hawk.
And I'm Pete. And we're with Source Solar, your local source for solar. Source Solar is Chicagoland's premier solar installer, providing solutions for over 1,000 homeowners and business owners across Illinois and Iowa.
With over a decade of industry experience and deep roots here in Chicago, we have the expertise to help your transition to clean, renewable, resilient energy.
We can guarantee that we save you money day one without any out-of-pocket cost to you. This means you have an instant ROI, instant payback, and can save money to add to your bottom line day one.
At Source Solar, we source everything as local as possible, meaning we always carry the Made in USA sticker.
Find us online at www.source.solar. Stop in our office at 5710 North Northwest Highway or give us a call at 773-985-3992.
And don't forget to ask for Hawk
or Pete.
Patti Vasquez is taking your calls now.
We need to speak out about this.
At 773-763-9278.
Hello.
It's Driving It Home
Hello.
Patti Vasquez.
It's weird to hear myself say hello, and then I realize how much I like saying hello.
I thought you'd set up one of those echo machines.
Hello. Senator Dan Kotowski joins us in studio. Former Senator Dan Kotowski joins us in studio. Now the executive director for Kids Above All, helping children and families live happy, healthy, safe lives. And we have a comedy show coming up on Thursday, June 5th at the Den Theater. Doors open at 7. Show is at 8, featuring Paul Farvar, Kimberly Marion, Chris Barnes, and I'll be hosting. And you go to kidsaboveall.org for tickets. And tomorrow morning we will be on CBS Local News at 8:15 in the morning.
I can't believe it. Radio at night, TV in the morning.
I know.
The actual stage on Thursday.
Yes, this is a lot. It's a lot of Dan time for me.
Kind of a little glimpse. It's a little bit.
A little bit.
We're going to have some separation.
We used to spend a lot of time like working on stuff in Springfield, and when I was running for office, when we door knocked for Kamala Harris. That was some fun times.
You're not one of these people that I feel like I have to not see in order to miss.
Thank you. I don't know what that means. Wait a minute.
Yeah, I know. One of these people I have to not see in order to not miss. In order to miss. Yeah. It just meant like sometimes people like you're like.
It could be months, but we're not talking to each other.
You can see people you're like I don't want to see her for a while. I'll miss her.
I've had enough.
I'll miss you if it's like I'm driving home and I'll be like, am I going to see Patty again? I'll see her tomorrow.
There you go.
It's going to be a really good week. A lot of Patty time.
I feel like I've been backed into an emotional corner inadvertently.
No, it's a really good corner.
I know. Because I've gone through a lot over the last month. What I'm saying is you are one of my favorite human beings.
Oh,
and I love spending time with you. Me
too. You.
Yeah, there you go. I actually remember when we first met. We were doing an event for the Epilepsy Foundation at the Chicago Center for Performing Arts, and we became.
I went right up to you.
Automatic.
I was like, it was hysterical.
So do you find you collect people? I know it sounds terrible, but I'm like, I need this person in my life.
Yes, the people who lift me up.
Yeah,
make me feel good about life.
Yeah, if I seek you out and I continue that, and I'm not saying the people I don't talk to for a long time. You and I can go for months. We're busy. We got a lot going on, but we pick it up like that.
Does that happen?
No.
Is that like it was months? I don't think it's ever gone months.
Weeks.
Yeah, but But
I'm a little bit needy. Like you used to be on a lot when I was on my other station, but you're busy in a different way now.
100%.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying.
It's different.
Yeah.
It's like. There was a lot going on there at that time when we were working to make sure we trying to get support for kids and families and adults with developmental challenges and
it was
trying
a small version of what's happening. Republicans have been working toward this.
What is it about that particular party that likes to pick on the most vulnerable people, the most kids who have the most challenges, adults who have the greatest struggles? What is it about? Does it make somebody feel? Does it make them feel like strong and tough to say I'm going to pick on this group? Like, what is it? What's the psychology there? It's like to show you that I can basically say we're not going to make sure that families who need the most help they're not going to get it. I see most people. I think I don't know. We know so many people. I think you would say are probably they're bipartisan. It's definitely bipartisan. And they recognize that the government supports programs for kids and adults and families with developmental challenges. What is it about like the psychology that someone says, I'm going to do this and I'm going to make sure that they're not going to get the help and support they need?
I think the people who attended the town hall in Iowa are wondering the exact same. Did you see what Senator Ernst did? At the town hall meeting, she was talking about the changes and the budget and
he's like, I didn't know it was in the bill.
No. You haven't seen this yet? I don't even have the audio. You don't know about this. So in Iowa, Senator Ernst held a town hall and someone started yelling, people are going to die. And she said, well, we're all going to die. Ugh. Dude, she doubled down. She made a mockery. Like she made a selfie video of herself in a cemetery. Starts out all smarmy. She goes, I was having this town hall meeting and someone yelled out they were very upset and they said people are going to die. And I didn't realize my words that I was in a place where people didn't understand that we're going to die. That we're not here forever. I'm so glad I didn't bring up the tooth fairy. And then starts talking about how finding everlasting life in Jesus Christ our Lord. Like I'm not making any of this up. This is exactly what she did. This is who they are. And when I went to Springfield, Representative Sullivan walked past the press box, right? And I know that he, like some things he crossed the aisle on, but when they made those cuts after the Good Friday massacre, I said, what do you think about these cuts to kids with disabilities and seniors and childcare? And he goes, well, everyone's going to have to suffer. And I go, you started with the kids with disabilities? Yeah. And he just shrugged and walked away. Like, that's their answer to things. Everyone's going to have to suffer. Exactly the same thing as Senator Ernst.
And they make no apologies, and they double down.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's the playbook. And what struggles, though? I struggle with this in the media. It's like, despite the fact that someone's doubling down on something that is completely wrong or completely inaccurate, they allow the doubling down to happen.
Yep.
They let people off the hook. They have somebody, the press secretary or the president of the United States, and they'll say something that's completely inaccurate and completely wrong and dangerous.
Yes.
And they'll say, no, just double down. No, that's just the way it is. And then it's like, all right, my question's done, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm no longer going to pursue the actual accountability that we should be pursuing.
Yep.
And just letting people off the hook. It's like, and it drove me crazy when, Kamala Harris was on CNN and Anderson Cooper completely excoriated. He didn't let her off the hook once. And I thought, so this is the person you're going to, you wouldn't do that to the actual president of the United States or the previous president. You're going to do this for her.
Don't get me started on Jake Tapper. Don't even get me started. We are in studio with Senator Dan Kotowski, former Senator Dan Kotowski. When he held town hall meetings, he listened to his constituents and even people who weren't from his community. And I'll tell you, it's helped a lot of families. So continues to help a lot of families. And I don't know if I've ever said that enough to you, or if you get that, if that sinks in for you, not just the work that you do now with Kids Above All, but for families who you also emboldened me and other families to go to Springfield to share our stories and have that impact and that connection. But you continue to have a lasting impact positively on so many families across the state. So thank you for that. And again, I'm going to get into an emotional corner. I'm going to take a break here. And when we come back, we're going to talk to our friends from Belmont Village Living. Joyce Mahoney, Regional Vice President of Memory Care and Programming, will be joining us in just a moment. Our friends who are on hold, I will take your call after our guests, and we'll continue the conversation in just a moment on WCPT, KKNW, and KTNF.
You're listening to WCPT 820. Here's the latest Chicago weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. Partly cloudy skies tonight with a low temperature of 66 degrees and south winds at 5 to 15, occasionally gusting as high as 20. Tuesday, cloudy with a chance of isolated showers and storms in the afternoon and a high of 87 with south winds at 15 to 30 miles an hour. Wednesday, scattered showers and storms with a high temperature of 63. Thursday, showers with a high of 64. Friday, showers and storms and a high of 66. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 84.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter.
Hey Progressives, this is Richard Chu, host of Chu's Views here on WCPT AM 820, 6 to 8 a.m. Monday through Friday. We have some real challenges in front of us as a country. Since the beginning of this show, I have always felt compelled to bring you the best that I've got. Now, there's always a why to doing whatever we do. So, as we go forward and face these challenges, know this, you listeners are my why. Because I want to make sure I do everything I can to provide a safe, open, forward-moving space that allows you to call, email, text, or just listen to a guy that wants to help you bring out your own championship qualities to truly make this place better for us all. Lofty goal, idealistic, maybe so. But that's my why, and I look forward to bringing you the best that I've got. This is Richard Chu. Stay tuned.
A tree can be a warrior, battling global challenges with greater courage. A tree can be a solution, cleaning our air, supporting our communities, and protecting our wildlife. A tree can be noble, growing hope in every corner of the world. That's why now is the time for trees. Millions of trees. Join our planting movement at arborday.org.
WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk, where facts matter.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue our drive home. Joining me in the studio is Senator Dan Kotowski, former Senator Dan Kotowski, who is now the Executive Director of Kids Above All, supporting children and families throughout the Chicagoland area live happy, healthy, safe lives. We have a show coming up on Thursday, June 5th at the Den Theater, Stand Up for Kids. It'll be a wonderful night of comedy. The doors open at 7, show is at 8. You can go to kidsaboveall.org to learn more about the show, featuring me as the host, comedian Paul Farvar, Kimberly Marion, and Chris Barnes. And tomorrow morning, we will be on CBS Morning News at 8:15 a.m. with Tina Kozma.
We've never been able to make an announcement like that before. like a comedy
We'll be
episode.
on
We're
TV.
also on TV.
On TV tomorrow.
Yeah.
Do I have time to lose weight?
No.
Okay.
No, do I have to? Do I have to put on some pancake number 5 so I don't look anemic? Look like I'm a. Oh,
I know how to
glad you
contour.
brought the extra from the Twilight series with you.
I'll
Patty.
do some contouring for you. I'll do
Some contouring?
Yeah, just some makeup for you.
The fact that you use that word, I'm going to have to embrace
It's
it.
not in your logarithm. We'll talk about it later.
No.
Because right now we want to welcome to the show our guest on the phone. We have with us the Regional Vice President of Memory Care and Programming at Belmont Village Living. Joyce Mahoney joins us. Thank you so much for joining us today, my friend. I do love catching up with you and learning more. Joyce, we've been talking about aging on the show today, and I'm wondering how much does physical activity play a role in our ability to manage our memory care?
Oh, well, it's great to be back. Thank you for having me. And good question. When we talk about aging, physical activity is huge in our ability to age well in every decade of life. So we need to stay physically active and mentally active as well in order for us to age well, to age healthy, and to help minimize our risk for various illnesses such as memory impairments, cognitive impairments such as dementia. So physical activity, mental activities are imperative to aging well, 100%.
And don't get me wrong, there's some things I wish I could forget, but I make those kinds of jokes. I would imagine that having a sense of humor is also something that really has plays a big role socially and with mental health too. Wouldn't you say?
Yes, absolutely. Humor is a good component to incorporate into your life. So if you have a good sense of humor, terrific, you're already on your way. But, again, having some levity, having some fun, enjoyment, and some pleasure, and really having a level of positivity in your life can also contribute to your overall well-being. And again, it also contributes to your willingness and your ability to live well and your desire to live well. So add the humor, add the pleasure, add friendships, add connectivity with people that you love, and again, staying active and staying engaged. And the other thing with that, too, that I want to add is also having a level of curiosity in your life, to be curious about yourself, about learning, about education, curious to learn new things, which is great for our overall health and well-being as well as to our brain health. And we know June is Alzheimer's and Brain Health Month. So we also can explore the link between curiosity and cognitive health. So again, be curious about things. Try new activities. Try exploring, learning something new each day or each week, whatever that looks like to you. But, having that opportunity to nurture new interests and learning could be a vital factor to consider as well.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and thank you for that. This is, my father passed from a few years ago, and he had dementia, and he struggled with cognitive decline. And he was a PhD. He taught college till he was like 79 years old. But one of the things that really helped him, I think throughout the course of his memory challenges was music. Playing music for him and watching shows that were funny. And laughing and being around. I think also don't underestimate the importance of like a physical connection or being around people that you know and you love. And this woman used to say, her name was Connie, and she said, one of the reasons why people forget is forget you if you're a family member is because they don't see them, they don't visit them, and I think people sometimes don't understand when there's someone in their family has dementia or Alzheimer's that they think they're not as aware or as alert, and it's that much easier for someone to forget if you're not visiting them and spending time with them. My father, I always felt like he could recognize me. He may not have said my name. It was a period for a couple of years he didn't say my name, and we went to Door County, and he had woke up from a nap, and my mother said, Kaz, that's my dad's name. She said, look who's here. And he was like, Dan. And he hadn't said my name for a couple of years, but he always knew. I could see in his eyes, I could see the recognition. And I think all of us, my siblings, we spent a lot of time with him near the end of his life and during the whole, his challenges with, his cognitive, difficulties, but we spent a lot of time with him. So it made it that much more difficult for him to forget who we were. And I think people should remember that, it's essential.
Yes, and that is essential. And I'm sorry to hear about your father, but you did the right thing about surrounding yourself with familiarity. And the number one thing is family and friends. That is what is familiar to you, but it's also a trust factor as well. So, and it's a comfort level too, being around people that you recognize, even though, to your point, you said, he may not have remembered everyone's name, and that's okay. But to look at you, you were visually familiar to him and continued to be that. And then maybe once in a while he had a glimpse and he did remember your name. And so we look forward to those treasured moments where you do see that little spark and you say, there he is, that's it. And, to provide that on a regular basis, not just periodically, but on a regular basis to be consistent with some of those things that are familiar, because it's also comforting and it provides that joy. And you also mentioned music. Music also provides joy and comfort, and also it provides sometimes a relaxing type activity, but sometimes it can be fun and lively and energetic as well. So whatever suits the individual. So that plan is going to vary from person to person. But you are definitely on the right path with everything that you did. My mom has dementia as well, and she doesn't remember my name all the time, but when she sees my face, it's like, oh, Joy, there's my baby girl. That's what she'll say to me.
That's awesome.
I always get my name, but it's that familiarity and that consistency in seeing me and having those positive interactions, which really, really matters.
Mm-hmm.
How can we help the folks who are, being present and providing care, or even in those visits? Because I think a lot of people are afraid to go visit. There's that hesitancy of I just don't know what to say. I don't know how to be there. Because I once, a friend of mine who lives in D.C., I talked to her and she wasn't able to get home for Mother's Day. So I went to go see her mother for her. And her mother told me she remembered them as children and had these stories about her daughters. And so I think that even letting someone tell those stories to someone they might not even know, right? But talk a little bit about what to be present for somebody. You're not being present for yourself. You are really being present for them, right?
Absolutely. And I get that question. It's very common when family members will ask me, it's like, well, what do I do during a visit? If mother or father, they can't verbalize their thoughts, they can't have a conversation, what do I do and what does that look like? It's just about being. It could be, something very simple. So don't overthink the visits and the connection. Be there, hold your hands, have some familiar photos, maybe some familiar music, as you were saying before. But just, be there in the moment and be present. And the other thing, too, is to focus on the abilities that remain. It's so easy to focus on everything that has been lost through the progression of the illness. Focus on the abilities that still remain. Maybe your visit is in silence, and maybe you hold hands and you walk a little bit, or maybe you hold hands or sit next to each other and you listen to some music, and now you're going to look for responses more from facial expressions, body language, just some gestures. And again, look for that comfort level. So don't overthink the connection and the visits, but just keep it very, very simple. Identify some things that might be very familiar, or some things that did give pleasure in the past. And maybe if that doesn't work, then you initiate some stories and you talk about all of those good things. And then you're going to look for maybe some sort of a facial recognition or a smile or eye contact. And then you're doing the right thing and you made some connection. So start small, and then you can build on that.
So interesting, because I recall just watching shows and talk about how humor is such a great connector.
What did he like? What was?
My dad loved Frasier. Frasier.
Nice.
He just loved it. And he loved, and then he loved obviously reruns of Frasier and Cheers. But he loved it. But he loved Newhart. Newhart reruns.
So good. Which
Love Taxi.
The Bread and Breakfast? Or
the Bread and Breakfast
Oh, my
one.
God, I love that. Okay.
And they also had that. So he was like, I mean, anything that was funny, and we can watch it. The thing is, like, interacting with them and laughing with them, or just like watch it. It's like, oh, Dad, is that, oh my God, Frasier, how hysterical is he? And it was a great way to connect. And I think some people think just going to watch TV is not a great use of time. It is, because they're interacting, they're watching the show.
They have company.
Yes, they have company. And it's not just them by themselves. And I think you said this point about like people in memory. I think, I just being in my, in my 50s and studying, I study language. You said do something different, be curious. So I study Spanish every night for about a good 20 minutes. But there's just like this exercise, which is so difficult that you're supposed to pick you have the word and you pick the English word connected. You're supposed to go as fast as you can. And I'm like, oh my God, these cobwebs in my brain, I'm not able to do it as quickly. So, but, and learning an instrument has been great too. I've learned an instrument. Playing guitar has been the toughest thing I've ever had to learn. And I've been studying it for like 5 years.
Nice.
And but like I just recommend that to people too.
Agreed. Can't say that enough. I mean, again, learning something new, whatever that might look like, it's just so good for the brain, for the overall well-being, and again, for the simple pleasure of it. It's fun and it's enjoyable. So why not partake in some of those things? And you mentioned about watching Frasier and the humor again. Again, Frasier, some of those comedy shows, they were familiar to your dad. So why not join him and have some of that pleasure right alongside by him?
100%,
Absolutely.
100%.
I love it. I'm so grateful for these conversations. Again, we've been talking to our friend Joyce Mahoney, Regional Vice President of Memory Care and Programming at Belmont Village Living. We love checking in with you every month. And folks can go to belmontvillage.com for more information about the programs, the living arrangements that they have there, and the kind of care that you receive. And really, based on these conversations, I'm just so grateful to have to talk to you every month. Thank you, Joyce.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity. Have a good evening.
Nice to meet you, Joyce.
Take care. Let's take a break here. I know we have some listeners on hold. We want to continue our conversation and wrap it up with Senator Dan Kotowski, Executive Director of Kids Above All. And our event is this Thursday. Stand Up for Kids at the Den Theater. Go to kidsaboveall.org. We would love to see you there.
Joan Esposito, live, local, and progressive.
Greg is on the line from Lake in the Hills.
I always recommend your show to everybody. I just really like your style. I like that you're a reporter, that you've got a background in reporting, and I just find your show and all your guests, like Jim especially, and Bobby and Dave, I think it is. I listen to all the time, and, you're great.
Joan Esposito, weekday afternoons 2 to 5 on WCPT 820.
With Progressive, renters can save on protection for the things that make your place yours, even things that don't make sense to everyone.
People always wonder why I don't get rid of my guitar since I never play. But it's like, what if I actually end up taking lessons? Sure, I've had it for 8 years, but if I get rid of it, then what will my New Year's resolution be next January?
Exactly. So bundle your renters and auto and save with Progressive and protect the things that make sense to you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates and other insurers not available in all states or situations. Covered subject to policy terms and conditions.
Is credit card or other debt making it difficult to pay your rent or mortgage? Home insecurity is often the unintended consequence of an inability to pay mounting credit card debt, student loans, or medical debt. But by working with a nonprofit credit counselor, you can avoid or reduce the risk of eviction or foreclosure while tackling debt for good. For more information about how nonprofit credit counseling can help, visit nfcc.org. Made possible in part by the nonprofit Wells Fargo Foundation.
After serving in the military, life can seem like an endless loop. But the cycle can be broken. You're not alone. Visit maketheconnection.net to learn more.
This is WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Chicago continues to lead the way with progressive values and in preserving democracy. Your support of the Minocqua Brewing Company Super PAC efforts in Wisconsin and beyond strengthens the fight against MAGA Republicans. You can now purchase progressive beers like Labor Lager, Love Wins Fruited Sour, and the Resistance IPA in Chicago at Rogers Park Provisions, Diversity Beer, Wine, and Spirits in Lakeview, Park West Liquor, Wine, and Beer in Lincoln Park, Logan Square Liquors, and Tip Top Food and Liquors in Westtown. Visit MinocquaBrewingCompany.com for all their Chicagoland locations. As always, no matter how bad our sports teams are, please drink responsibly.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue to drive it home. I was just reminiscing with Senator Dan Kotowski about the overnight shows we used to do when he would come guest co-host there. It was amazing who would drop by. You know, you would stay for 3 hours and do a show in the middle of the night. Comptroller Susanna Mendoza used to come in and guest co-host with me a couple times too. She would come in for a segment and be like, "This is really fun. Can I stay?"
There's like, yeah, there's people like, yeah, Susanna's one of like guys. She's not sleeping. She's not sleeping.
No.
We're up.
Yeah, she was. I think she was comptroller at that point, or she's city clerk at that point. Okay, it was great.
Yeah,
it was some of my favorite nights ever. And being here though is better because there's not that stress of like, what can I say, what I can't say. You know, these arguments I would get into. I don't even remember some of the people that would call in. And like one night, one guy was like, "Why do I pay for the kids with the autistic kids? You know, I don't pay my taxes for building roads and firefighter, like that kind of stuff. You know, so I don't have to argue with people like I used to have to."
Well, I think you manage it differently too.
Yeah,
and I think that the expectations there were different. So
yeah,
you're able to be your
I'll
yourself,
be myself here,
authentic self.
We have a stand-up comedy show coming up this Thursday, June 5th. It's Stand Up for Kids, for kids above all, and we have a dad joke submitted just now. Someone says they wrote one.
Oh, they just wrote one on their own?
Politically relevant. They said they made it up a couple weeks ago. This is our friend Fred from Wicker Park, and he says, "What's the difference between Donald Trump and the Wizard of Oz?"
Well, what?
The Wizard of Oz use a curtain. Well done, Fred.
It's okay. Hey. Just a curtain. That's good.
Use the curtain.
That's hysterical.
I think it's better than a dad joke.
That's got some levels too.
It does, doesn't it? Right? It's sinking in.
It's got levels. He's like, whoa, wow. I'd like to hang out with Fred.
It's deep. People have been talking about how
the Moody Blues and talk to Fred.
So I was talking about when you hear something you can't unhear it, and someone said, of course, Dorothy had to solve all the problems for the men in her life before she could get home.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
She had to fix everybody. She had to fix the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, the Lion, the Wizard. Right?
I was in Springfield, and there was that huge painting that shows like the person in the military outfit interacting with the Native Americans, and he's like standing above them and glowing.
I know.
And I was like, there's something wrong with this photo here.
Well,
this painting.
The mural you should look at. Have you taken time to look at the Governor Cole's mural where he released his slave? So Griffin went to the state history fair on this report of our second governor of Illinois, who helped stop the spread of slavery into the state. He ran on an anti-slavery platform, and he had actually been given. He was President Madison's secretary. I don't know if he was his secretary while Madison was in the Oval Office, but from his family he inherited like 19 slaves and decided to move to Illinois and freed them on the Ohio River. There's a mural of him freeing his slaves on the Ohio River. So I went into the Abraham Lincoln Library and I asked them, I'm like, so has anyone ever written about how there is a direct line you can draw in history from Governor Cole's preventing the spread of slavery into Illinois and Abraham Lincoln living here, not being surrounded by the day-to-day transactions and the treatment of black people, and it was an assault to his soul. He wrote about it when he was in D.C. and when he was on the boats going to Mississippi, down the Mississippi, right?
Right.
And they're like, no one's ever written about that.
I know, like this Governor Cole. That's like,
yes.
That's the first I've heard of it.
Me too, and I have a degree in history, but I didn't do Illinois specifically.
Yeah, but you don't have a degree in Illinois history.
I don't. I did a lot on Abraham Lincoln. I just hadn't. Anyway, at any rate, let's get to some of our calls, Senator.
Right.
On the phone with us is Jim from Chicago, patiently waiting. He's been on hold for over almost an hour now. Thank you, Jim. We appreciate it. Hi, what's on your mind, my friend?
No sweat. June is busting out all over by a great song from Carousel. And if anybody's still alive down in the Crescent City when you go down there, you can relate this story to them. During Prohibition, they had the man who enforced it went through the cities with a little card. He said, who gets the first drink? It was in New York, Chicago. It was New Orleans by the stretch. It took 35 seconds. He asked the cab driver, where can I get a drink? He said, reach under the seat. There's a bottle of Granddad. Anyway, you'll appreciate this, Dan. Waste, fraud, and abuse. The Afrikaner is wasted constantly. And the fraudster, who was 34 counts of fraud, and this party has the nerve to keep repeating waste, fraud, and abuse. Imagine this.
Yeah.
That's the state we're in. The guy is stoned out of his mind, the Afrikaner. He's taking every drug you can imagine. And the stumper is 34 counts of fraud, and we know that he's been a fraudster his whole life. So, I mean, how can they go through a chorus of this? It's enough to drive you insane. And you guys have a great night. And thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
It is enough, but it's not going to.
No,
we're gonna keep moving forward, one foot in front of the other.
They haven't found the waste, fraud, and abuse, like the percentage of people.
And they have their own corruption that they've been engaged in, but it's
fraud.
No, it's all talk. It's
Hey,
it's all
Paul,
talk.
in Seattle, you're on with me and Senator Dan Kotowski. What's on your mind, my friend?
Oh, God. Every time you bring up the point that you have to argue with people on Facebook about not paying for disabled children like your child, it just makes me sick. I posted a link to NBC News on the story of the little girl in Los Angeles Children's Hospital who's being deported.
Yep.
And she's, having that, she has a severe digestive disorder. And the first one reply I got was, of course, fake news. And I was like, this is NBC News. Where do you get your news? But the worst one was from a woman. And I have to say, it makes me sick. I guess really conservative women or right-wing MAGA women absolutely make me sick. I don't know why. I know that's not right. But for a woman to say, he says there's an old Jewish proverb that half the truth is as good as a lie. The little girl could have stayed. They were asking her parents to leave. And I said, what?
Yeah.
What is your problem? I mean, what do you think the doctors would recommend that her only support system, her parents, to leave the country? Isn't that as good as? And then what happens to her then?
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Yes. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is that it's all about, well, if they'd come here legally, or they should have thought of that before they came to the United States. Isn't that always the thing?
Yeah. It's everything.
But everything that if they got here under Biden's watch, then it was illegal. But the thing is that first of all, I can't imagine a woman. That can't be somebody who's had a child. And the other thing is that I just said, don't try to justify hatred and ugliness with wisdom literature. It just doesn't fly.
No.
Yeah, and the current president's wife was illegal. It's just like the whole thing.
I'm sorry. Michelle Obama wore sleeveless dresses, and this woman. I mean, like, and
the president had a tan suit.
But I don't want to, and I also don't want to shame people who, are models or participate in the sexual soft porn or whatever. But like Melania Trump, posed naked. Lady B is not happy. She didn't. Thank you for calling, Paul. I appreciate it.
Nice to talk to you, Paul.
We have to wrap up our show in a moment, but there's so many things to talk about. When can you come back? Because it's really fun to have you.
It's nice to be here. I'm more than happy to come back.
All right.
The fact that I saw it, Lady B, which just lifted me up too.
Isn't that great?
Oh my God! It's just
She's one of my favorite people.
Energizing.
Before we go, we have a couple seconds. Eve, how are you doing tonight, Eve?
Great. Want to hear a song?
Oh, I can't tonight. We've got to run, but I know I really appreciate it. You can play a little bit of it for Senator Kotowski. Oh.
Let's talk peace that we're going through. Let's rock the world, freedom rules. Let's rock the world for every boy and girl. Let's rock tonight. Go with the flow.
Thank you, Eve. We got to wrap up in a moment. Thank you so much, my friend. Have a good night. So we're going to be on the TV tomorrow morning.
The TV?
The televisions. If you have a television or if you have a phone or a computer, we're going to be on all the devices.
Yeah, all of it.
Tomorrow morning.
We're taking over.
At 8:15 a.m. 8:15 a.m.
8:15 in the a.m.
Lady B, we're going to be on TV tomorrow. I should probably take a shower.
CBS.
Can I wear a baseball hat?
You should take a shower.
Take a shower.
You may want to. I mean, it's a courtesy.
We'll be on TV to promote our event on Thursday. Kids Above All. Go to kidsaboveall.org at the comedy show to support the wonderful work they do in their mission to help children live happy, healthy, safe lives. Senator, it was a pleasure to have you.
I promise to laugh at all your jokes tomorrow on TV.
And I promise to do a joke or two maybe you haven't heard yet. Ask about Patty the Petty Ghost. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you to all of our sponsors. Source Solar, Monaco Brewing Company will be there on June 17th in Madison. Our friends, Kids Above All, and good night to KTNF, KKNW, and of course WCPT. Love you, Lady B. Great job tonight. Love as always.
Now at Menards, get everything you need for your garden project. Schultz Plant Food is specially formulated to provide brighter, fuller, and healthier blooming for your flowers. It's easy to use.